It's tough to start a season better than the Dallas Cowboys did in week 1 of 2023. They start 1-0 with a 40, count them, 40 points to 0 on the other side for the New York Giants. A 40-0 win, the largest shutout victory in Dallas Cowboys franchise history, and that's only the start. As we welcome you into Special Edition with Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, Nate Newton, a trio of former Cowboys. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad you're with us going into week 2, but first, we've got to take a look back. 40-0 is not a normal outing. The Cowboys dominate from beginning to end. They do so in all 3 phases. Barry Church, what was the most impressive part of the win?
Well, the most impressive part to me was the defensive side of the football, more specifically that defensive line. I mean, they had Daniel Jones running for his life the entire afternoon. I know we talked about it last year with the waves of defensive line coming in, but this year it seemed to be even more improved. I mean, you're getting rushed from interior defensive linemen as well. Talk about Odigizua. So, man, they're flying around. They were hunting on Sunday.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Barry. I love the fact that the defense was absolutely all over the place, but I love the fact that every third component of this game, all 3 phases, offense, defense, and special teams, made contributions. When you make deposits and you make contributions, you have big paydays, and that's exactly what they had this weekend.
You know, it was raining, and you didn't even know it because the way Mike McCarthy called plays kept this thing conservative, played to the strength of the defense and how the special teams were playing. I like the way Coach McCarthy called plays this past game.
Yeah, it was really check all the boxes along the way for the Cowboys in all 3 phases. It was fun to watch, but let's start with Barry Church and what he just said. That defense was unbelievable in that first matchup. 7 sacks. They had 23 pressures in the matchup on just 37 dropbacks. Isaiah, I mean, what was the successful part about the defense, and can they keep that up throughout the season?
I don't know if anybody can keep that pace. But I love the fact that, you know, DQ was putting these guys in position to be successful. And when he does that, you know, he has a vast amount of personnel on this side of the ball. And these guys all love each other. They love each other as brothers, and they all want to see each other be successful. So that means that all guys are going to go out there and try to be the next man to make the big play.
In the way they took care of their responsibilities, when a guy was running the game, how a guy needed to be outside, he stayed outside. When Parsons needed to be inside, he played inside. And they adjusted as they was rushing with versus the run. They took care of the gaps.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, this was the most dominating performance I've seen from a Cowboys defense. But to me, what impressed me the most out there was those young DBs. I mean, you talk about Wanye Thomas out there making plays early and often. Marquise Bell flying around the football field at a position that was new to him, that linebacker position. So to me, those guys impressed really well, and that overall was just a dominating performance.
It was a mixture of role players and superstars both making plays, and that's how the defense stood out. Let's talk about the offensive side. Nate, you mentioned Mike McCarthy calling plays. Tony Pollard ended up with 2 touchdowns in the game, had 70 yards, but still only had 16 touches. Do you see more of Tony Pollard and what he did in week 1?
Kyle, I'm glad you asked. All I need for you to do, Coach McCarthy, is 22 touches a game for Tony. You got other guys that can run the ball, can do what they need to do. You got Dottle, you got Turpin. Hey, I like the mixture. Bottom line, great job.
And you heard Nate say right there, touches. That doesn't mean that he has to carry the ball every single time. That can come in the form of passes, that can come in the form of screens. But what I love to see this past weekend was Mike McCarthy mixing things up in terms of the personnel. That's what this West Coast offense is going to do to you in terms of making things hard on the defense, okay? You might come out 11 personnel, but guess what? You have a running back in the backfield named Kavontae Turpin. That changes things up when the defense is trying to figure out exactly how to match up.
Overall, it was a check-the-boxes game. I've already said that, but it really was for the Cowboys. And they did so in a numerous of ways, but really it started with the tone setter on defense, Micah Parsons. When we come back, Isaiah Stanback takes to the film room. We teach you a little bit about how Micah Parsons makes an impact not only in the stat sheet, but outside the stat sheet as well.
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Reliant, official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com. Make your crypto play today. And by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by the NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan.
Welcome back into Special Edition. And before we take a look ahead to Week 2 and the matchup with the New York Jets, we'll have Emmy Award-winning analyst Isaiah Stanback take you through the film of how Micah Parsons helped affect this Dallas defense and lead it to success against the Giants in Week 1. 23 of 37 dropbacks for Daniel Jones resulted in pressures. That's over 62%. 5 pressures going to Micah Parsons. He had a sack as well, but it's not just the stats that show up for Micah. How does he affect the game outside of what shows up in the box score?
Well, Kyle, one thing we know about Micah is he considers himself to be a lion. And when lions go hunt, they make sure that the whole pride eats. And that's exactly what Micah Parsons is doing right here with this defense. And he has his man, the right-hand man, Dan Quinn, the mastermind, setting him and his teammates up for success. I'm going to take you guys to the film real quick. So right off the back, okay, this is 11 personnel. 11 personnel for the New York Giants. And what they're doing is they have 5 offensive linemen, okay? 5 offensive linemen. Now, on this particular 11 personnel, they are going to leave their tight end in. Boom. So they leave their tight end in. So that gives their guys 6 protectors up front. But it doesn't matter. Why? Because Micah Parsons is where? Micah Parsons is right here. So what is Dallas doing? Dallas has how many down linemen? 1, 2, 3, 4 down linemen, okay? Obviously, Van Der Esch has walked up there, so he's a threat. So right off the back, the Giants have an advantage, you would think. But let's go ahead and play it through. Hit the play button, boom. So as the ball is snapped, boom, right there, pause it right there. Right now, Micah Parsons, again, is right here. So Micah Parsons is coming in. What is he doing to affect his defense? Well, when you have an additional lineman, okay, or a pass blocker, okay, you guys are going to be coming out right here. So here he is. He's going to be coming out. Deron Bland's coming off the edge. Okay, Armstrong's getting blocked up. And now you have 2 guys that are now taking Micah Parsons. Why? Well, because you need 2 guys, okay? The running back is going to chip and try to work his way out into a route. So Micah Parsons is consuming 2 blockers. Boom, pause it. ISO, ISO, double team, ISO. So you're giving your guys, Deron Bland, opportunity for a one-on-one matchup. Darrell Armstrong, opportunity for one-on-one matchup, okay? Osa, D-Law, all one-on-one matchups because of the man himself, Mr. Micah Parsons, that is requiring 2 guys when you keep the tight end in to go out there and play against him. Go ahead, play it through. Micah doesn't eat. He still finds a way to beat the double team. Now Osa goes out and he hunts. Armstrong goes out and hunts. Bland goes out and hunts. Those guys, his other guys, are going to win their one-on-one matchups as well because when you keep the tight end in, you're still going to have to double team Micah Parsons.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy always talks about complementary football between the offense and the defense, special teams. You can play complementary football amongst your unit as well. And that's what Micah does. But also, there are times whenever that defense and what they were able to do one-on-one helps out Micah, and it's kind of a back and forth.
Yeah, so it's a chess game, right? So
yeah.
Obviously 11 personnel, they kept the tight end in. They say, hey, let's put the tight end at the line of scrimmage, back him off the ball so he can assist. It doesn't matter because Micah gets a double team, everybody else gets one-on-ones.
That works out.
But what happens when you decide to flex out your tight end? Teams like the New York Giants where they had Darren Waller, they flexed him out and said, guess what? We trust our 5 offensive linemen. We don't need an additional blocker in there. We're going to go one-on-one versus your 5 guys. So you got your 5 guys down. We're going to have our 5 guys down, and we're going to win the battle. Not so fast, my friend.
Yeah, that
Why?
doesn't sound like a great, successful
It's a terrible
thought
idea.
process.
Terrible idea. The reason why, because now the mastermind Dan Quinn is going to line Micah Parsons up right here in this gap between the center and the guard. What does that do? Well, right off the bat, I want you guys to look at these alignments. This is what we call a 7 technique. Okay, you have the big Mozzie Smith, who's a defensive tackle who normally lives where? He normally lives in this region right here, okay, right here next to the center. But on this particular play, he's lining up in a 7 technique, okay? Where is we at over here? We are over here with Mr. Fowler. He's lining up with normally would be a 9 technique. It's an 11 technique. So we're really widening these guys out. Big Jonathan Hankins is all the way out here on the tackle, and then we have Van Der Esch out here in no man's land. What does that do? Well, right off the bat, who's this tackle responsible for? He has to go out to Fowler. All right, who is this guy responsible for? The left guard. He's responsible for Big Mozzie Smith. All right, who's the tackle responsible for? He has to come out to Van Der Esch. This guard has to come way out to Hankins. Look how much space they are giving Micah Parsons. They're giving Micah Parsons this entire 3-yard box to do what? To go either direction he wants to on this center. He's giving him a 2-way go. I don't know a center in the league that can defend or really go up against Micah Parsons when he has a 2-way go. You see it play out. Boom, he chooses wrong. I'm going to run around you. Now guess what? I'm the lion. I'm going to eat. I'm going to force you out the pocket. You now I'm going to get a holding call, and now we're going to hunt. The entire pride is going out there to make plays. You can't win because you think that you can have a one-on-one matchup against me and my boys, and I guarantee you we're going to win every single time.
And that one resulted in the interception with Stephon Gilmore as well. Complementary football, even within a unit, helps things out for this defense, and you're going to continue to see that against the Jets this week. But when we come back on Special Edition, who are the guys that Micah Parsons and this defense hunting? Aaron Rodgers no longer in the fold. How does that change things from a defensive game plan against New York?
This segment was brought to you by the NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan. This segment is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.
They have a great defense, especially their D-line. You know, guys like Quentin Williams up front. You know, they got a great linebacker core, C.J. Mosley. They got nice corners out there, so it'll be a nice challenge for us, but, you know, we're looking forward to it.
Tony Pollard brought to you by Texas Lotto. Speaking about the talent on that New York Jets defense, we'll talk about the Jets defense in just a couple minutes. Back here with Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Let's start with the offensive side of the ball, though. Aaron Rodgers injured on his 4th snap with the New York Jets. It's unfortunate for Jets Nation. I thought it's unfortunate for this Cowboys defense. They wanted the challenge of facing Aaron Rodgers this early in the season. He's out for the year with an Achilles tear, but it's on to Zach Wilson. Barry, how do things change defensively when you're preparing for Wilson instead of Rodgers?
Well, from a defensive perspective of it, it changes a lot. I mean, when you look at it here, you're going from a Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, who can make all the throws and has seen pretty much every defense out there, to Zach Wilson. And nothing against Zach Wilson out there, but he's not the quarterback that Aaron Rodgers is. So defensively, it should simplify a lot of things. They should focus on stacking the box and stopping this run, because if you force Zach Wilson to beat you with his arm, they can't get it done. They stand no chance out there. So to me, focus on those 2 running backs out there, stack the box, and force his team to be one-dimensional. It should be cut and dry.
Yeah, I think with Aaron Rodgers, I think that the game plan was most likely to try to pressure him and try to make him uncomfortable. I don't think that you have to do that with Zach Wilson. He's unproven in regard of him being able to deliver consistent, right decisions all the time. So I believe that this front 4 can get after him, and you can sit back and really constrict the passing lanes for him.
You know what? This offense is built for him. It's a West Coast offense. Drop back, 1-2, take off. I mean, that's what Nathaniel Hackett's going to tell his kid. 1-2, take off.
And one of the things you have to do with that West Coast scheme is you got to hand the ball off and you got to run the football. Cowboys struggled early to stop the run against the Giants, but now they've got a whole new test with Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall, both of which looked great. Nate, when you look at this running game for the Jets, how are they going to challenge the Dallas defense?
They're going to get on some guys. They know they have the advantage that New York Giants didn't. They know they're going to have to run the ball. They know they're going to have to be mistake-free. They know they're going to have to be physical with the defensive line of the Dallas Cowboys. That's going to give them an advantage, just knowing that they can't get behind.
Yeah, this is a straight buckle your chin strap type of game for the Dallas Cowboys defense. I mean, you got 2 dangerous backs back there who are home run hitters. And to me, the key to slowing these guys down for the defense is you got to be disciplined. Stay in your gap and trust your teammates, because both of these guys have the ability to, if you're not disciplined, expose your defense overall.
Breece Hall was over 100 yards in his first 3 carries on Monday Night Football against the Bills. Big chunk yardage plays, and then they took him out of the game and let Dalvin Cook work the rest of the way. They have other weapons like Garrett Wilson and company, but it's really this defense that is the scary part of the Jets organization. Isaiah, when you're looking at it from a quarterback standpoint, how do you read a defense? Because they throw you different looks.
These guys have dogs at all 3 levels, as you see on the screen right there, and it's a complete problem. I mean, you got Big Williams on the first level. I mean, you have Sauce Gardner obviously on the secondary. I mean, in that second level, they have a 2-headed monster in Mosley and Williams. So both of those guys are going to be a problem. I think they are aggressive at the second level, but they depend heavily on this front line. If that front line can't have an impact on the game, then that second level is not going to be able to have an impact as well.
Yeah, I think this will be the first true test for the Cowboys offense. I mean, last week they went out there, didn't have to do much. They were up 13 points before the national anthem was done. So to me, this will be a little bit different, because this is a well-coached Jets defense up there. And like Isaiah said, they have all pros on each level of their defense. They can match you skill for skill or big for big when you talk about our offensive line versus their defensive line. So this should be a great matchup, and I hope to see the fullest of Mike McCarthy's offense out there.
And what's more dangerous than a talented defense with a chip on their shoulder? Without Aaron Rodgers, this defense knows that they're the key to victory. That's that's going to be fun to watch against this Dallas offense and the new system from Mike McCarthy as well. But when we come back here on Special Edition, Dallas ISD and the Dallas Cowboys combined to give back to the community. Hear about what happened in Dallas when we come back.
This segment was brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.
Welcome back into Special Edition. Be sure to check out National Hispanic Heritage Month celebrations all weekend long at AT&T Stadium. Pregame in the Miller Lighthouse. You also have pregame in stadium, live music, mariachi bands, great food, and also award-winning entertainment across the board. CBS 11, 107.5. La Grande broadcasting live up until kickoff. It's a fantastic celebration put on by the Jones family and the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium this week. The Jones family's been busy in the community lately as well. Back in October of 2019, after devastating tornadoes ripped through the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, Thomas Jefferson High School, along with Cary Middle School, both suffered serious losses to their football stadiums, and the Jones family donating $1 million to rebuild that stadium. And it's been accumulating over the last couple of years to put those facilities back in place for the student athletes and the students at Thomas Jefferson High School. Let's take a further look.
That Dallas Cowboys season opener winning magic was felt all over the Metroplex this week.
Touchdown Cowboys! 1, 2, 3,
Cowboys! Tuesday, as the Dallas Cowboys kick off Hispanic Heritage Month, that winning feeling reached Thomas Jefferson High School.
Y'all gonna win y'all game this Friday?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, all right.
Where members of the Blockchain.com Rookie Club were joined by Charlotte Jones and the cheerleaders to pay a special visit, dedicating a new NFL-grade field and cheering on the NFL flag football program.
It feels great to come out here and really get to connect with some of the kids, because I remember I used to dream of being in the NFL.
I feel like for us to come out here and to be able to embrace these kids and have fun with them on this morning is huge.
Just being here and just seeing the joy on their faces, seeing us come off the bus, they don't know how much that makes us smile on the inside.
Who could have imagined from the utter destruction left by the 2019 tornado that such a hopeful symbol of the future would be celebrated together?
You saw it on the eyes of those who were performing. You saw it on the kids that were running through, screaming for the cheerleaders, screaming for the players. It's just really a unique opportunity for us to celebrate education, to celebrate Hispanic heritage, and to do so in such a unified manner.
The community partners offered a real lesson in resilience and what is possible through unity.
Our community, led by the Dallas Cowboys Foundation, helped us. We use this field now to do neighborhood football. We use the field for soccer.
The shock of the devastation, while unforgettable, gave the community an opportunity to come together and build more than the physical structures, but a tangible place for young people to dream.
I hope the kids see and understand how much the Cowboys care about them. And if they take that from what this opportunity is, and I think the sky's the limit for them.
When I was younger, I went to a bunch of camps like this, getting a chance to talk to the pros and be with them, just realizing they're normal people just like you. It really inspires you to go out there and chase down your dreams.
Thank you, Dallas Cowboys!
Fantastic to see the community getting back on their feet at Thomas Jefferson High School. And, of course, those student athletes will benefit for a long time to come. From one part of the community to the other, of course, Dak Prescott winning Walter Payton Man of the Year last season. He's looking to continue some dominance on the football field as he goes back-to-back against New York programs. Can he continue the success he had in Week 1?
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, was brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. And by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
Wrapping up this Week 2 episode of Special Edition, and first we got to take a look ahead. Keys to the game for the Cowboys to get a win and start 2-0. CBS 3:25 kickoff on Sunday. Barry, we'll start with you.
To me, you got to stop that two-headed monster in the backfield, Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook. You do that, the rest will take care of itself.
You have to control the line of scrimmage. Offensively and defensively, these guys are big and stout and aggressive.
I'm with Barry. Take away the keys from that two-headed monster, we will win this game.
All right, Nate, what's your prediction? Cowboys getting the win, starting 2-0?
It's going to be a little bit hard this week, man. We'll beat them down with a 3-point win.
Whoa! 3 points instead of the normal 1 point from Nate Newton. Hey, you know what? We didn't talk a lot about Garrett Wilson. I think he's the outlet for Zach Wilson. I think if you shut down Garrett Wilson and Trayvon Diggs has a big day, Cowboys get a win by 4. That's it for Special Edition. We'll see you next week.